Good afternoon and welcome to the second Co-JMC Lincoln Area High School Basketball Media Days, sponsored by Pepsi Cola of Lincoln. I'm Trevor Oldfield. Thank you for joining us via our live stream on the Nebraska News Service YouTube page. For those of you in the audience, please raise your hand if you have a question, and our mic runners will get the microphone to you. Up next, we have the Lincoln Pius X Thunderbolts. If you guys can introduce yourselves, we'll get into questions.
I'm Coach Ryan Pasoda.
I'm Ellie Wells.
I'm Hannah Obedient.
And I'm Ava Markowski.
Can I start us off? Is this on? Okay, this is on. I just wanted to ask kind of so you guys have had a good couple of years, like a lot of years. You guys were state quarterfinalists, and then you guys had two really good records. What are your guys' kind of goals for this season? And then what's it like for like the juniors and seniors who were part of the playoffs and the championship game, trying to get that win before they leave?
Yeah, I think the ultimate goal is just to win the championship, but also just to lift each other up and push each other during practices, just to like build our team as a whole.
I think that especially us now being upperclassmen, we get to be leaders because the younger classmen get to look up to us, and our goal at the end of the season is to compete for a state title.
And after falling short the past 2 years, I mean, we're just really ambitious, and obviously our goal is to win it all. So
I think this is a really good group. We've had traditional success at Pius. The years before you mentioned, we won 2 state championships in a row, and then a quarterfinal appearance, and then the last 2 years we were in position to get a state tournament bid, and then just in the district final we had some bad things happen and fell short. So I think these guys are battle tested. We're going to play a really tough schedule again. The goal with each group every year is growth, to get better from the beginning of the season to the end, and to play our best basketball in March. And so I think this is a group that's really experienced and really driven to get to that point.
You guys went 17-7 last year, which is pretty good for a lot of schools. How do you plan to continue to build upon that success for these upcoming seasons?
Yeah, 17-7 is a good record. Unfortunately, not by our standards. We have a very tough schedule. A lot of Class A teams in the Metro. We play a bunch of out-of-state schools, so we put together as challenging a schedule as we can to prepare ourselves to get ready for March. We'll be battle tested, and we're going to play the best of the best, and that's what we want to get where we need to go.
Coach, you mentioned that your team's battle tested. They got a pretty hard schedule. So how do you guys handle the pressure in close games, and how do you support each other during high-stress moments?
Yeah, I think it's just like giving each other compliments and make sure we're uplifting to like keep ourselves like our heads held high and just like to keep up that good work.
I feel like we're all really close-knit as a team, so having trust in each other also helps us just be able to be really confident and work together.
How would you describe the team chemistry this year? Like, how have you guys bonded so far, just kind of preseason?
Well, we're a group of multi-sport athletes. We've got volleyball players, we've got softball players, we've got cross-country runners, we've got basketball-only kids. So we're meshing a bunch of different groups together that have already been competing this fall. We're kind of unique. We're a very long team. Everybody's right around the 6-foot mark all the way across the board. But this is a close group of kids. Some of these kids have been starting 2 and 3 years now. And so it's their time to be leaders. They've seen what leadership looks like from either their other sports or from previous years in our program. And so I think the chemistry and just the sticking together part of it and getting through the thick and the thin is going to be important for us.
So kind of building off, what do you guys kind of do to prepare off like the field? Like when you guys are not doing any sports, what are you guys doing to kind of take care of yourself so that way you can keep doing these sports, especially doing being multi-athletes?
Just like knowing like health, nutrition, like getting your sleep, and just like staying on that track to just like keep yourself like balanced and being ready for it.
I was going to say in our off season, we've been having conditioning and working towards our season, so.
I guess one thing just to add to it. So again, these kids are all multi-sport kids. So as soon as their fall season's done, I typically give them a week off. Don't do anything. It's not so much from a physical standpoint, but more from a mental standpoint. So that in February and March, they're not burned out. Also, just kind of trying to implement them a little bit at a time, and not just to go hit the go button right away and go full speed. Just try to kind of get them used to it. But we do a lot of weight training, and we do a lot of stretching, and we do a lot of conditioning drills and plyometric stuff to try to get their bodies right.
Hi. So circling back to the leadership, so you guys did lose 5 seniors and two of which were starters from last season. What are like the key aspects of leadership that you guys want to embody both on the court and also just in practices?
I think that the key aspect is having those hard conversations when if not everyone is giving their full effort to tell them that that's what they need to be doing, and keeping everyone in line, and also while that building each other up and giving each other compliments and telling that you're doing a good job.
Yeah, just like making sure like the skills of communication are there, just like whether it's on the court or off the court, just so we know how each other are like doing and going.
With the recent move to Class B, who do you think your rival or biggest competitor will be this season?
I'd say our biggest competitor would probably be Scott. Not a lot of people know that we're even Class B, so hopefully we're the underdogs.
Yeah, I would say even in the years past we've played them and they've been a big competitor, so we know how they play and we can we'll be able to prepare for them and be competition towards them too.
We'll have these 2 other girls come up.
Who wants to stay? You want to stay? Sure.
Well, I think the biggest challenge for us was creating a schedule. Moving from Class A to Class B. In Class A, they make your schedule for you. In Class B, the schools get to choose. And so we really only play 5 Class B schools. Everybody else is still Class A. And so some of the challenges is just kind of building a schedule over the next couple of years that's going to be a little bit more accommodating to where we're going to be in Class B. Like I said, we're going to travel and we're going to play in some big arenas out of state just because we don't have enough teams to play. And so just having 3 games in a week or having to travel to Sioux City or travel to Kansas City are going to be a little bit of travel burdens on us. And so luckily we've got enough depth that we're going to be okay as far as not overplaying a lot of kids all the time.
With traveling and stuff and going out of state for those, how do you think that traveling is going to affect how you guys play for this season?
Well, I think all of these kids play club basketball, and so during the summer they're used to playing on the road and used to traveling. And even during the summer they're going to play 2 or 3 games a day at times. So I don't think the travel aspect is going to be such a big thing. In my aspect, it's going to be you got to get back home. We might get home at midnight. You got to be in class at 8 o'clock the next morning because you're a student first, and then we might have to adjust practice the next day around that. But just remembering that they're students first and they got to be in class.
Okay.
This question's for any of you girls. How would you describe the team in one word?
I would say family.
I think we're a team of competitors.
I would say family too. We're all just super close.
Coach, you said they all played club basketball in the summer. What do you think they gained from that experience?
I think number one, they get to play with different people. They get to play with kids from other schools, all that have similar abilities to what they have. And they're all high achieving kids who are out to get a college scholarship or to get their name out there and to get some recognition. And so I think it's good to play under other philosophies and with other coaches and other kids who are going to push them. But it also lets them play high level basketball all year round.
Girls, you can input on that too if you want.
I think when you go into a club game, you play people you don't know, and going into Class B, we're going to have teams that we haven't played before, so we don't know their personnel, so that's prepared us.
This one's for the players. What have you guys specifically been working on this offseason to prepare for the upcoming year?
We've been in the weight room a lot. Coach stresses a lot that not only is it a mental game, it's a physical game. You have to be strong. You have to be able to push yourself to, ends that you didn't even know you could do when you're on the court. It's not about you all the time. It's also about your teammates, so being strong for them also.
Who would you guys say that your biggest role models are, specifically in terms of basketball, but also just in life?
I think I definitely look up to the teams from years past. I think we've had a lot of good girls, and it's good to look up to them because they really showed the way for us.
I would say the same. I think seniors are a really important aspect of a basketball team. They've been there the longest. They know the program. It's just someone to look up to and someone you know that you always have.
I know Keely, I don't know her name exactly.
Keely Kenobi.
I know she's not here right now, but I did have a question. She had a really big game at the end of the season last year. What do you think, her kind of coming into this year in the preparation for that, how do you think that's going to be a good aspect to your guys' game this year?
Yeah, so Keely's she'll be a 3-year starter now for us. She's actually on recruiting trips right now, getting ready for the season. But she's a very unique player. She's a very tall point guard. She can shoot the ball. She's a long defender, and that's across the board. We have a lot of long defenders and a lot of long kids. But Keely's going to have to come into a leadership role, be a positive leader, and she's going to have to kind of take on a little bit more scoring load than she has in the past years.
So now that you guys are seniors, how are you going to step up as leaders both on and off the court?
I think being a leader is more than just about how you can play. It's also about how you treat your teammates and giving full effort in practice all the time. So it's really just setting a good example while also being a vocal leader.
I think part of being a leader is a lot of picking your teammates up when they're down, making mistakes. It's something we all do. And being a leader means being there for them and letting them know that it's okay to make mistakes and that they need to do everything they can to come back from that.
Thank you for your time and joining us today, ladies. Next up, we'll be joined by the Crete Cardinals. Good afternoon and welcome to the second Co-JMC Lincoln Area High School Basketball Media Days, sponsored by Pepsi Cola of Lincoln. I'm Trevor Oldfield, and thank you for joining us via our live stream on the Nebraska News Service YouTube page. For those of you in the audience, please raise your hand if you have a question, and our mic runners will get you the microphone. Up next, we have the Crete Cardinals, and if you can go ahead and introduce yourselves, we'll get into the questions.
My name is Britt Ehlers, and I'm the head coach.
I'm Addie Zeman. I'm a senior at Crete High School, and I play a forward position in basketball.
I'm Sierra. I'm a senior as well, and I'm a post.
My name's Ebony. I'm also a senior, and I'm a guard.
Hi, Coach. Last year you had a record of 15-10, with the year before going 6-15. That's a very big increase in the win column. Yeah. So obviously your record improved. What have you done this offseason to kind of carry forward that momentum?
Yeah, sure. We graduated 5 seniors. We had 5 seniors last year, and their maturity really helped us. The benefit and kind of a unique situation is we actually have 6 seniors this year. And so we were an older team next year, but we continue to have a fair amount of experience and age in regards to that. So we're going to continue to do the things that we did last year and rely on our older players, then helping some of our newcomers supplement and fill in some of those gaps where we need them.
Hey, Coach. You guys got off to a pretty good start last season in your first game. You won 67-17. What are you guys going to do this year to kind of try and do that again? I mean, not to that extent necessarily, but just like start off again in that way.
Yeah. Our whole motive when we play is that when the game is over, we want the other team to be glad the game is over. And so we try to really play with a lot of pace and intensity, both offensively and defensively. The benefit of that first game of a year is teams haven't really seen you. There's not a lot out there on video and stuff like that. And so there's an opportunity if you play in that way, especially with an aggressive defense, that you can sometimes get on top of teams and it'll start to come pretty fast. So we'll try to do that in every game we play, but it sets itself up a little bit better in the first game of the year sometimes.
Okay, another question. You play your first game on November 30th. Obviously, this season is not, it's a sprint, it's a marathon. I'm just wondering, and this can go for you guys too, is there anything, especially in the first game, that you're really wanting to see? Like any signs of okay, we're doing that right, or we don't want that? Is there anything specific like that you're looking for in a first game?
Yeah. One of the things that I would look to, we've spent a lot of time this off season just working on some of the fundamental pieces of skill development and those types of things for our players, so that as they do it, those things become habit rather than having to think about them. And so I think I'll be excited to see as we play that first game, are those things happening and do they occur naturally, or are we still thinking about them? That'll be a good sign then of what we'll be able to accomplish later on with some of the more scheme-wise and those types of things, if our fundamentals are there and they just kind of occur naturally.
You were one win away from winning districts and going to state. What do you think the team learned from that and to kind of go and actually make state this year?
I think last year our team was really hardworking and relentless. We put in a lot of work to get there. So again, as leaders and as seniors, I would love to get there again. So putting in the hard work and the skills that we've learned all summer, I think it would be great to go back or try to make another district final like that last year.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot of effort and having unity, playing for your teammates. I think that'll get us there. So
this question's kind of for the kind of all of you guys, but a lot of athletes, no matter the sport, kind of have a little bit of superstitions and pregame rituals before each game. Is there anything that you guys kind of do, or like a tradition as a team or just as an individual?
Not really. We all like sing along to songs in the locker room and do our hair and get ready. That's kind of our thing. So, yeah.
Looking back. Looking back the hair.
Britt doesn't like the hairspray.
It is insane how much hairspray they use trying to get the shell on their foreheads. It's unbelievable.
So you guys kind of talked a little bit about that senior group from last year. How have you seen some similarities in this group, Coach? And then for you guys, what did they kind of do to help show you guys like good practice habits and things like that?
Why don't you guys start?
I think last year's seniors were really great leaders. They showed us what it looks like to be relentless as a team, what it looks like to work hard and have unity in a team. So that really stuck out to me at least. So I want to show that this year as a leader on our team.
We have a lot of sister connections. So I think it's both positive and can be a challenge, but yeah.
Yeah, I think last year's seniors really helped show us what a good leader is like, and they helped push all their teammates, so I'm hoping that I can follow in their footsteps and be a good leader like they were.
And,
go ahead.
Just inspiring the younger classmen. So.
I think looking back at last year's seniors, one of the things that they did exceptionally well was they stayed really even keeled no matter what was happening. If we were down and going on a run or up or whatever, they just managed their emotions pretty well and stayed pretty even keel. And so I'm excited to see this year's group do the same thing. I think that as I look at them since they were sophomores up till now, the thing that I'm most proud of is their ability to respond intentionally rather than just reacting emotionally in the minute. And we've seen great growth in that. And I think we'll have a ton of ups and downs this year. That goes without saying. And I think this year we just will. And so I'm excited to see how they manage that and handle that, because I think they'll do a great job of it.
Hi, it's me again. This is more a question for you guys. You obviously talk about how the seniors last year taught you all kinds of things. I think you even said unity is a big thing for your team. My question is, if you could describe the culture of your team in one word, what would that be? And I would also love a why you think that.
I would say relentless, once again, because we're always working hard, pushing through the hard things together, and we never let down.
I like that word, but I would also say we want to hold each other accountable, and that'll make each one of us better, and yeah.
I'd probably say unity, because I feel like we have a really, really close team this year, and I feel like that helps us just work, push each other to be better too.
Yeah. So I got to explain just a little bit, but whenever we play, we say that we want teams to watch us and be able to tell what it looks like to be from Crete. That they can tell that relentlessness, the unity, the fire that we play with, the oneness, those types of things. And that's what it means to be from Crete. And for people to see that and know that. And so I would say the way is Crete. That's who we're trying to be, and that's who we want people to understand and know.
Coach, how would you describe the difference between last year's team and this year's team?
Yeah. I think this year's team is they're a little more free-spirited and kind of goofy, and we laugh a lot. Even when I'm trying to be serious with them, we laugh a lot. And I think that that's really good, because they recognize that their identity is not as basketball players. It's who they are to others and who they are in their community and those types of things. And that's the whole reason why we play basketball, is to have a positive impact on others in their community. And I think that this group, they keep that balance really well in check. And do a really good job of focusing on that. And so sometimes it's kind of freewheeling and goofy and maybe even a little out of control at times. But at other times it's really locked in and heartfelt and meaningful to the community.
Okay, one last question, and this isn't a basketball question, so hopefully my professor doesn't get mad at me about this. I asked this to the boys team, and I'm asking this question on behalf of somebody else. Your new counselor, Mr. Kutra, wants to know what you guys think of him. He's my stepdad, and he told me at dinner last week that I should ask that. He just wants to get a feel of the room.
I don't really know him. I haven't really got to know him yet. Me neither. I don't know who that is.
So I'm going to withhold judgment because, as I understand it, he officiates basketball games.
True, yeah.
And it's obviously going to, like, if he helps us out and he's solid that way, we're going to think the world of the guy, right? And so I'm withholding judgment for a little while.
All right, thank you for your time and joining us today. Next up, we'll be joined by the York Dukes. Good afternoon and welcome to the second Co-JMC Lincoln Area High School Basketball Media Days, sponsored by Pepsi Cola of Lincoln. I'm Trevor Oldfield, and thank you for joining us via live stream on the Nebraska News Service YouTube page. For those of you in the audience, please raise your hand if you have a question, and our mic runners will bring you the microphone. Up next, we have the York Dukes. If you can introduce yourselves, we'll get into the questions.
I'm Kinley Wilkinson. I'm a senior, and I'm a guard.
I'm Chloe Cook. I'm also a senior and a guard.
I'm Lania Portwine. I'm a senior, and I'm a guard.
I'm Matt Fike, and I'm the head coach.
So coming out of state volleyball, how are you guys transitioning into coming into the season for basketball?
Yeah, fight gives us a week off, so that's definitely nice just to kind of be able to take a break, relax, and then really get your head set on the basketball season. But I think we're all really looking forward to it. It's our last year playing basketball with each other, so yeah, we're looking forward to the last season together.
And I feel like we're also kind of carrying that high of volleyball season into basketball season, so that should give us some extra power to start the season.
What's something you're looking forward to this season?
I'm looking forward just to having one last season with all of the teammates that I've had throughout high school.
Yeah, I'd say the same.
Yeah.
I'd say I'm looking forward to that. Most of these girls, I've known them since they were in middle school, so I'm looking forward to being there for the end run of their high school careers.
What are your guys' goals for this season?
As a team, I think it's always the big goal is to make it to the state tournament and end your season at PBA. But I think some shorter goals would be to be conference champs since we haven't had that title for a while. So I think that'd be nice to accomplish our senior year.
Coach, so since you've known your players for so long, knowing this is your senior year, how are you feeling in coaching? Is there anything you're doing specifically for them?
Well, this is my 32nd year doing this, and my favorite part of it all along has always been the relationships with the players, and the fact that players I've coached in the past are now adults and have their own families and careers and stuff like that, and I'm friends with them now. And so what I really look forward to with this group is being a part of how they finish high school, but also being a part of what they become as they go into adulthood and move on with the rest of their lives. I'm looking forward to being friends with them. Not that we don't have a great relationship now, because we do, but there's a different dynamic when they become your adult friends, and so that's an exciting thing for me to look ahead to.
Coach, you only lost one of your top 5 scorers from last year. Do you think the returning offensive production will be key to your team's success this year?
Yeah, we've definitely got to have some guys that step up and pick up that load. Kiki Portwine was a pretty good player for us for a bunch of years, and so yeah, we have to have people step into that role. But we've got the people that will do it. We've got the people that'll step up, and we're going to be a different kind of team, I think. So we've got to kind of find some different ways to score. But I'm confident about this group going into the year.
Players, how would you describe your team culture?
I think we have a good team culture where we all play volleyball together for the most part, so it definitely helped getting to know the freshmen through volleyball season. But yeah, I think just carrying on from that season into this season is a nice transition.
I think that something York girls sports can always pride themselves on is their team cultures and how close they're able to get with each other. Even like the freshmen and the seniors are best friends. It doesn't really matter what grade you're in. Everybody on the team is pretty close.
Yeah, we just emphasize team chemistry and getting to know everyone early on, and it really helps us and it shows on the court.
Coach, you said your team's going to be different this year. How is it going to be different compared to last year's team?
Well, I think in the past we've always played fast, and so I think that'll definitely be there. But I also think too that one of the things that we've got to focus on is developing some depth, and we have some younger players that we feel good about that are going to grow into some roles. And so seeing a team that's going to be a good combination of veteran leadership and younger players with some great ability. That's probably going to be the biggest difference, I think.
For those of you that are seniors, knowing that this will be your last year of high school basketball, what do you mostly want to get out of it just at the end of the season? Like, what do you want to, looking back on it, what do you want to get out of it?
I think I want to remember all the friendships that I built with the girls, and not necessarily what I accomplished personally, but what we accomplished as a team.
Yeah, just knowing that you always gave it your all and that you don't have any regrets at the end of the season.
Yeah, just the friendships.
What are some things you've done this off season to help prepare for your senior season?
Devoting my summer since I was little to club basketball has really helped me be able to pursue what I want to in high school basketball, and it definitely gives me more confidence going in the high school season because the last time I was playing live was in summer and not last year, so I think that helps.
Yeah.
Do you want to switch?
So coming into your senior year, what's been the most memorable moment for each of you?
Most memorable what?
Moment.
Most memorable moment coming into senior year.
Yeah.
Just overall.
Probably when we get to stay as a team, we go to an Amherst tournament, and probably the memories that we make when we're staying in the same rooms together as a team.
Yeah. We all sleep in the same room, and so it's kind of...
We learn a lot about each other.
What are your guys' game day traditions?
Starbucks.
Yeah. We always go to Starbucks together before every game.
Mm-hmm.
How would you guys describe your team in one word?
I'm trying to think.
Close, but also, like, I don't know.
Fun.
Yeah.
Who are your guys' basketball role models? Who do you look up to?
Paige Buchers. I think she has a really good work ethic, and she's a really good teammate.
I agree.
The second thought. Third.
Who do you guys think your biggest competition will be this year?
Probably Waverly. They have a lot of returning players, so I think they've developed over the summer as well, so I think that'll be a big competition.
I know a lot of schools are returning a lot of good players, so every game will have its own challenge.
Yeah, we have a lot of good teams in our conference, so a lot of big games.
All right, this is kind of a dumb question, but I'm more prefacing with that. If you guys were stuck in an elevator, the four of you, which one of you breaks first? You know, like would break down. You know, it's like you're trapped in an elevator, lights go out.
Kinley. Yeah. I don't think she likes tight spaces at all.
No.
And being around people for that long,
Yeah.
not her jam.
What would you say separates you guys from other teams you guys play?
Our team culture, we're all really, really close, and we never look to blame each other or point fingers. We always, if we can, we always take the fault first. So
Yeah.
I feel like that just creates a really good team chemistry.
What specifically over the summer have you girls done to improve your game?
Playing in out-of-state tournaments and seeing the competition from other states, and just like playing players that aren't from Nebraska, it gives you a whole new viewpoint on the competition that's out there.
Yeah, playing different people, seeing different teams definitely helps improve some ways.
Yeah, and we dedicate the month of June just to do team stuff. So getting to know each other early and getting a head start on what we're going to do that season, I think really helps us as a team.
Team camps also, just to get our hands on the ball and get into the gym, that also really helps.
All right, thank you for your time and joining us today. Next up, we will be joined by the Seward Blue Jays.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon and welcome to the second Co-JMC Lincoln Area High School Basketball Media Days, sponsored by Pepsi Cola of Lincoln. I'm Trevor Oldfield and thank you for joining us via our live stream on the Nebraska News Service YouTube page. For those of you in attendance, please raise your hand if you have a question and our mic runners will run the microphone to you. Up next, we have the Seward Blue Jays, and if you can go ahead and introduce yourselves, we'll get into the questions.
I'm Kennedy Limback, and I'm a senior, and I'm a guard.
I'm Kelsey Miller. I'm a senior, and I'm a forward.
I'm Amara Sieber. I'm a senior, and I'm a guard.
I'm Beth Bosowski, and I'm head coach.
So you guys went 15-8 last season. What are your upcoming goals for this season, and how do you plan on achieving them?
We definitely want to make it to state and play at PBA. Also, with the conference tournament, we want to win that this year. And just playing together as a team, winning those in-between games that we kind of lost last year.
What is something you say you guys struggled on last year but improved on this year?
So we're going to look a little bit different from last year to this year. Last year we lost 3 seniors, point guard, a post back to the basket, and then our school record holder 3-point shooter. So going into this year, we're going to have to look to fill those roles, especially with the 3-point shooting. We probably don't have a true 3-point shooter on the team right now, but we're hoping to develop one and get that role filled. But we bring a lot of athleticism back, so we're going to play a little up-tempo more so than we have in the past. And hopefully that will help us produce some offense a little bit. And then defensively, we have some length on our side, so we're going to use that length to disrupt the other teams and see what we can produce from that.
Is there a particular game that you have circled or opponent that you're just especially excited for this year?
I think every year we look forward to playing Waverly, Norris, and York. So any of those 3 I'm really looking forward to this year.
Can you guys describe your team culture on and off the court?
I say we're very close. A lot of us play volleyball together, and so we're really good friends. And we hang out off the court all the time. And yeah, we're really close. And it's going to be fun.
So I know Coach said that you guys lost 3 seniors. How do you guys plan on stepping up into those roles of leadership?
I think the main thing that we're going to focus on is playing together as a team and just involving everyone and talking and just having a lot of energy, making sure that we're selfless and just overall well balanced.
With you guys being seniors and this being your last year of high school basketball, mostly what do you want to get out of it, knowing that this will be your last year of high school basketball?
I'd say just making the memories, just enjoying our time because, it goes way faster than you expect it, just like volleyball season did. But yeah, I'd say making those memories and building those bonds even tighter and closer.
Yeah, I definitely think that getting to the point where I don't want to take off my jersey and I just don't want to leave this team behind is definitely something I want to create.
Your team came so close to making it to state last year. What do you think your team this year learned from that experience to help propel them into the state tournament this year?
For me?
For all of you.
Yeah, we came short. 3 years ago, our goal was, to get to a district final, and we got to district final. And then last year, it was another goal to get there, but we really wanted to host it and win it. Of course, then to hopefully make it to Lincoln. We were able to host that district final. Just fell short. And credit to South Sioux City last year; they played great. But I think just being in those experiences help us. But through the summer, we kind of put them through some adversity situations a little bit to make it challenging to help them. Hopefully that'll prepare them for this year upcoming season. But then I think the course of the year, basketball's a grind. It's a lot of valleys and a lot of hills and ups and downs. So I think, even when we're maybe at our lowest point, we still got to find those ways where we can get back to our high point, and we hope that we're at our high point come end of February to get us to PBA where we want to be.
We will now have their last player switch out with their coach.
So this is for each of you. What personal strengths do you guys think you bring to your team?
I think I bring a lot of energy and just defensive toughness.
I'd say my size and length has a big toll on the competition, I would say, and just experiences that I've had through basketball.
I would definitely say my length. We run a lot of 1-3-1 during the season, so when I'm on top or on the wing, I like to get steals and defensive touches. So.
I would say my positivity and then defensive presence. I'm always encouraging, so.
How do you guys maintain the mental stamina to stay in competitive seasons for most of your school year, jumping from volleyball to basketball?
I think you kind of just have to find joy in the game and just like remember who you're doing it for and why you're doing it.
I think we do it for each other a lot and just finding a break whenever we need it and finding someone that we can count on to be there for us when we're at our lowest points.
What is something you guys picked up from seniors last year that were on the basketball team?
I think last year the seniors did a really good job of including everyone and making sure everyone knew that they had a spot on this team, and I think that's something that we look to carry on with.
Yeah, I think they definitely kept a lot of us accountable for just like our team's culture, and that's our job this year to keep our underclassmen.
What's one word you would use to describe your head coach?
I would say competitive.
Fiery.
Loud. She's very loud.
Don't pick my words. I'd say encouraging, even through her like competitiveness and fieriness. She's always still giving us pointers and stuff.
What do you think will be the biggest key for a successful season in each of your guys' eyes?
Just doing the little things can make a big difference, and I think if we just get those down, it'll make a huge impact on our season.
Yeah, and I think just playing together as a team, no one being like selfish or anything like that, just playing together will help us get far.
Yeah, and I'd say being confident in our skills and what we know we can do.
When there are high-pressure moments during big games, how does your team chemistry show up?
I think we do a really good job of pulling each other together. So like we'll go in a huddle after a big play or something, and we'll just take a breath, reset, and get our minds straight.
Yeah, like every time we come out of a timeout, we'll get in our little group and just like talk about what we're gonna do next or reflect on what was said in the timeout. And I think that just helps us like come together and like do better on the court and just play as a team.
What have you guys done in the off season to improve your guys' games?
A couple of us played club basketball together, so I think building those relationships with that team as well has helped us, and just working on like skills and going to all the team camps that we went to.
Yeah, just building a bond with our team and team camps. Like we go to away camps where we stay overnight in hotels and learn more about each other, and it's just a lot of fun with all these girls.
All right, thank you for your time and joining us today. Next up, we will be joined by the Norris Titans. Good afternoon and welcome to the second Co-JMC Lincoln Area High School Basketball Media Days, sponsored by Pepsi Cola of Lincoln. I'm Trevor Oldfield, and thank you for joining us via our live stream on the Nebraska News Service YouTube page. For those of you in the audience, please raise your hand if you have a question, and our mic runners will get you the microphone. Up next, we have the Norris Titans, and then if you can go ahead and introduce yourselves, we'll get into the questions.
I'm Isadora Tidball. I am a junior, and I'm more of a forward.
Bree Chambers, senior guard.
Wally Johnson, head coach.
Y'all had a lot of seniors on last year's roster. Just what all are you going to miss from them this season?
Well, I think we're going to miss the leadership, considering 5 of them started. We're going to switch up our entire lineup. So it's just a lot of change. We'll have to build our team chemistry a lot more because they were obviously all very close because they played together. We'll miss our speed. We'll miss height. There's just a lot of puzzle pieces that we still have to put together, and that's what we'll be trying to do throughout the season.
Yeah, like Bree said, they took up a lot of our court last year, so I think this year we really just got to figure out who's going to go where and who's going to do what this year.
The experience factor is probably the biggest thing. They're super athletic, multi-sport athletes. We did have size, we did have speed, but the exciting thing about this year's team is that they get to make their own identity, and we're still athletic as heck. We're going to be fast, good shooters, aggressive, so we'll get to make our own mark on this year's team.
Seward said that their favorite part of the season is playing you guys. What makes that rivalry so special?
Who said that? What team said that?
Seward.
Oh, Seward?
Seward.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We have a few rivals, and that's one of them. We know some of their players pretty well. We know their coach pretty well. So it's fun to go play those teams that you have rivalry with, because it just leading up to that game, it makes practice just a little more special in practice, something a little bit extra. So we see Seward, Waverly, Elkhorn North, Scott. I could go on, but yeah. I mean they're all teams that we're gonna compete with and have fun in competition.
And I think Seward is also fun because it's a non-conference team. They're not in the EMC, so it's just always fun to beat them too.
Yeah, we have a couple club players that play on Seward, so a lot of fake beef goes on. So.
Now that you guys are the seniors, how are you going to step into that leadership role?
I'm a junior,
sorry,
so I'm going to step out of that one.
A senior, I'm so sorry.
I feel a lot of responsibility knowing there's only one of me, and I'll try my best to step up to the pedestal and be the best leader I can be, because I know all the younger girls are looking up to me to be their role model, but I also know I have a very good support system of my coaches and all the juniors who are also behind me, so I always know that if I'm not feeling my best, then they'll always back me up too.
Yeah, and we're gonna empower our underclassmen to be in leadership roles too, not just Bree take it on her shoulders herself. So we're looking for other kids, underclassmen, to step it up.
So I just want to say congratulations to your volleyball team on their state championship. Is there any way that you guys are going to use that momentum going into basketball season? And is there any pressure where you're like, oh crap, now we got to do it?
No, we're definitely going to ride that wave of momentum. I said in another interview that it's a great time to be a Titan, because last spring, 3 state championships. This fall, a state runner-up, a state championship. And a lot of our kids are multi-sport athletes. We're a big school, but we see each other in the hallway all the time, so we know who each other are, and we feed off each other. And we have 3 players coming off that state championship team that'll join us on Monday at practice, and we're gonna soak it up just like they did. So.
What part of the team culture from last year are you guys wanting to carry into this year?
I think we have a very big culture of family. We're always very tight-knit. We do a lot of team bonding stuff. And that kind of ties along with what I said about team chemistry earlier today. We really just want to keep building. Even though we're in the program right now, we won't always be in the program, so we want to leave a mark on it. So my mark on it would be to just keep building that family relationship between me and my teammates.
Yeah, going on with that, obviously we're all together to play basketball, but at the end of the season we all want to create memories outside of basketball and bonds and teammates that we can always go to if we need help or just need a talk to someone.
You mentioned playing. You mentioned playing in the EMC, which is one of the traditionally more tougher conferences in the state. How does playing in that conference kind of help you as a team down the stretch of the season?
It's very helpful because, as you just said, EMC is very competitive. So a lot of things we'll see in EMC, we might also see in like postseason stuff, like districts, sub-districts, state. So it's kind of nice to just see that kind of regularly in the regular season, because then we kind of know what we're expecting later on.
And because there's so many teams in our conference now, I think it kind of teaches us, like, not every game's going to be easy. Like, we're going to have to fight for every single win that we give. And if we're going to win, it's going to have to be deserved.
And when you look at the EMC, it's like state championship basketball almost every week when you go out and play. Even the teams that aren't in our conference that we have on our schedule are going to be super challenging, which we look at as an honor, because at the end of the season we have played the toughest schedule, so we are battle tested and ready to play at that level when the postseason comes around.
What have you guys done this off season to prepare for your tough schedule?
We just had a lot of open gyms. We like to make open gyms like competitive too, so we'll play shooting games, or we'll just scrimmage, we'll play 3-on-2+1. We're just finding ways to like get in like a competitive mindset to then get us ready for the actual season.
And don't forget all the running we've done. We have been running lines, so we should be pretty conditioned.
I think another big point of all of our athletic programs is our weight program. Our kids, boys and girls, any sport, all sport, is bought into our weight program, and Coach Hess does a great job of organizing that. And every single one of our athletes, regardless of sport, is in that weight room and preparing themselves for putting their body through whatever the season requires. So,
how do you keep each other motivated during tough stretches or when you're facing a strong opponent?
I think we, honestly, coming from my perspective, we really like to like scream in each other's faces. We like to just keep encouraging each other. Like, if we say we're doing bad, we just look at each other and say, hey, we're not doing great right now, but what can we do next to make this better? And we know each other very well, and we know what we're all capable of. So if one person's just feeling down, we just got to remind them that who they really are deep down.
Or like if we're having a tough stretch in a game, we'd always say like take one play at a time. So that just means like just try to get 1 point. Like we'll say, okay, get this point, then play really good defense, and get it back and get another point. So you can't really look at the game as a whole, like 32 minutes. You really have to break it down to each play, because each play is important. So that helps too.
And not every player needs to feel as though they need to shoulder all the responsibility of the team. It's shared, and it's not just 5 players. We create depth. We like to play fast, so it's going to require a lot of people to play. And these guys have worked hard to get themselves to a point where they're getting in shape. We're not there yet, but we'll keep working to get there.
This is kind of a 2-part question. What are your goals overall for the season as a team, and how are you going to get there?
I think our goal is to do the best we can and to see how far that is. Like, for me, I will be super proud of this season if we give it our all, and we might end up short, but that's okay. But I would love to go back to PBA. I think the whole team would love to go back to PBA and hopefully make it past the second round this year. But our goal, we can acquire that being there for each other, working hard, and really like digging deep. When there's going to be really tough games this season, it's not going to be like how can we get up from this valley of maybe like a few losses. Like if we had a tough competitors, like maybe we get down by 1 like we did by Beatrice, but it's how we come back from those games. I think that's really going to define how our season's going to go.
I think another goal that's overlooked a lot is just having fun. I think players in any sport, they always just think about like how stressful the next game is going to be, or maybe they'll be dreading practice one day because they just didn't have a good day. But at the end of the day, we're all doing this sport because we want to, and we want to have fun, and we want to build those relationships with our teammates. So I think overall people just forget to have fun, and then even though if you're losing a game, still try to enjoy the fact that you're able to play the game too.
Yeah, and maybe uniquely, we don't really set a goal of how many wins or losses we want to have on the season. What we do is we set goals on what kind of teammates we want to be, what kind of practice environment we want to set, what kind of style of game we want to play, how we want to develop those relationships. So those are goals that we set.
You guys just mentioned losing in the second round. You only lost by 1 point during that game. So is there like a new sense of fire to get further this year, and how has that fueled your preseason training?
I know personally, me for sure, I did make a bad pass in that game. Looking back, I kind of think sometimes like, what would I do if I had done differently? But I think it fuels me for sure because I want to get that point back. Like I don't want to get revenge on Beatrice, but I do want to win this year.
Yeah, I think it did suck to lose by 1 point, but also I try to remember that it was 6 months ago. This is a whole new season, a whole new team, so we can't really base that game off of what our season will look like this year because it's a completely different team. Like the outlook might be totally different. So yeah, it fuels me, but at the same time, you always have to move past it because there are other games that we have to worry about too. We can't just live in the past. We still have to get prepared for this season.
And I totally agree with both of them. We're looking forward to developing a new season, but looking back on that game, we're also down by 15 points in the fourth quarter and actually had a lead with under a minute to go. So that just shows the kind of character and kind of kids that we have on our basketball team.
All right, thank you for your time and joining us today. Next up, we'll be joined by the Lincoln Lutheran Warriors. Good afternoon and welcome to the second Co-JMC Lincoln Area High School Basketball Media Days, sponsored by Pepsi Cola of Lincoln. I'm Trevor Oldfield, and thank you for joining us via our live stream on the Nebraska News Service YouTube page. For those of you in the audience, please raise your hand if you have a question, and our mic runners will bring you the mic. Up next, we will have the Lincoln Lutheran Warriors. If you can go ahead and introduce yourselves, we'll get into the questions.
Andrew Broders, head coach.
Sawyer Benny, I'm a senior and I'm a guard.
Lily Logmuth, junior, I'm a guard.
Coach, this is your second year with the team. You guys went 4-17 last year. Obviously, probably not what you guys were wanting. What are your expectations for year two?
Yeah, we play a really, really tough schedule. So we went 4-17. But I think we're a lot better when that record shows. We took a top 10 team to overtime at the end of the year. I think we returned two starters. Another one that had a lot of experience on varsity, and a couple other role players. We have a couple underclassmen that'll come up and really help us in scoring. So we're going to be a different team than last year. So I'm excited to get the season going. We played a tough schedule last year, but other teams had a ton of seniors also. So I think overall the season's is going to be a lot different than last year. So really before Christmas, things will kind of shape out, and we'll go from there.
What does your mindset look like in practice, just preparing for this upcoming season?
Yeah, I can go first and let these girls talk. One thing I'm going to this first week of practice, and we started over the summer, is we're going to run a new offense this year. So we'll be a little more 5-out this year, and we'll do some specific things out of that, which is different than what we did last year by quite a bit. So getting them comfortable of what us coaches are trying to install will be really important here the first couple weeks of season, and even before Christmas. It's going to take a little while since we're going to play a little bit differently. So that's a big focus for me.
Yeah, I would say having a mindset of being intentional with our practices and not kind of like goofing around is really going to help us when game time comes, because we'll be more focused.
I think in practices we'll have to build chemistry with the underclassmen and all the new people that have joined.
Yeah, so the season's coming up, and first I want to say congratulations to Lily on your state volleyball title. The majority of your team plays fall sports, so as athletes, how is it to have to transition seasons in such a short window?
I feel like most of the girls with being in fall sports are pretty conditioned and well-rounded in their other areas. And so I feel like coming into basketball, it's just a switch of playing a different sport, playing a different game, being with new people. Yeah.
And I think this week, with most of our athletes at least taking a couple days to take a break and rest our bodies before we change our mindsets and go to basketball, will help us to do good this season.
All right. So how would you guys describe your team chemistry, and what do you guys do to go about building that throughout the season?
I would say our team chemistry is pretty good right now. During the season, we have these bonding things, especially next week we're going to one of our coaches' house to watch Husker football, I think, and then just have community and just hang out with the girls. And I think with most of our girls playing volleyball, they're already such tight-knit, but I feel like it's really easy for other girls who play fall sports to come in and just join that group.
Mm-hmm. I think during the first couple of weeks during practices, we'll start to build relationships, and it'll just all help us to be close. And we're from a small school, so we already have those relationships built in.
What are some of the biggest lessons that you guys have learned from last year, and how are you guys applying those looking forward to next year?
I can go. What do you guys think of your answer? But I think a big thing for us that these two really learned last year, along with some of the other role players we had, is learning how to win some of those close games. We had a lot of games that we were right there, even against some really, really good teams. We played Lincoln Christian. It was a 6-point game at half, and they went on to win C1 last year. Bishop Newman is a 6-point game in the fourth quarter. They went to the semis in C2. So we were right there with some teams. We just didn't quite know how to win some of those big games and those close games. And we, like I said, we lose 3 really important seniors from last year's team, but we return a lot of our other role players. And so I think these girls have a better idea of how to win those close games, and which we kind of showed off last year at the end of the season.
Yeah, I would say going along with Coach, kind of knowing your role as a player. We have a lot of different players who bring different aspects to our team. We have some shooters, some better on defense, and I feel like our team is going to work really well together and just, gel.
I think losing to Johnson Brock by 2, I think really closely, I think it'll fuel our fire for those people that played, because we brought back a majority of those people that played in that game, and I think it'll help all of us can lead the underclassmen to help feel that fire and help us to keep win those close games.
Yeah, so you guys spend so much time together as a team, in season and out. And so earlier you described the culture in the team as joyful and full of love. What is your favorite part of being on this team, and what does it mean to you guys?
My favorite part is building relationships with the girls. I do a fall sport, which isn't volleyball. I do cross country. So just kind of being on that outside circle during the fall, being in basketball really helps me build better connections. And yeah, just cherishing those moments that we have. Especially with it being my last year, I think this is going to be a good year to get really close with the underclassmen and kind of just leave a legacy of like being kind and just having fun at practice.
And going off what Sawyer said, I also think that relationships are a main reason of this culture of our team. And I think like half of our team doesn't play volleyball, and so building the relationships with those people is also super important.
Coach, you said you lost a couple games really close to good teams. What do you think it'll take this year to get over that hump?
Yeah, I think it comes down to the little things, especially when the game is tight in the fourth quarter. Can you execute on offense? Can you get good shots consistently? On defense, can you know your assignment? Can you know where shooters are? It's just little things that you have to do over and over again, and a bunch of little things always add up to big things at the end of the game. And so, last year we just have slippage a little bit there in the fourth quarter, and the game will get out of hand. We'd end up losing by 10-15 to a Lincoln Christian. So it's just you got to do the little things consistently. You have to do them over and over. So if we can do that this year, we'll be right there in a lot of games.
So Lily, your sister Sophie graduated this spring, and you guys played for one another for a good while. Can you describe how much of a role model she was for you, and how is it going to change not having your sister on the squad this year?
I think it'll change our team dynamic a lot because she brought a lot of fire and energy, and I think I can just apply the fire and energy and the leadership that she brought to the team and help try to use that for us this year.
What are you guys looking forward to this season? It could be like game related or not, just like being with your team. Anything?
Something I'm looking forward to. I have a son who's 2.5 now. He's going to be 3, so he's like getting to the age where he can just be around a little bit more. And so it's fun to have him around. My dad was a basketball coach, so I grew up in the gym. I grew up around the team. And a lot of those memories I still have from when I was a kid. So I want to have him have that similar experience. So he's already been to some stuff this summer and this fall. So it'll be fun to have him around the team a little bit more.
I think I'm most excited to try to win those close games this year because last year, as we've said, we've fallen to a lot of those close games. And I think this year our team can help try to do that.
Yeah, I'm just excited to get back out on the court and see what this new group of girls can bring, especially with losing our 3 seniors. I'm really excited to see how these girls will step up.
You mentioned earlier fueling the flame and getting that passion in there. What gets you your biggest bouts of passion? And moreover, what do you do for your team that brings passion to the entire collective?
I think what really fuels our fire during close games is a big play or a big momentum shift in it. And I think just trying to do that for our team or try to facilitate that with other people can help.
Coach, you said your dad was a coach as well. What did you learn from him to implement into your team now?
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of things. He's probably one of my biggest role models in my life, and I think the biggest thing he taught me was the last couple years he was a coach. They were not very good. I think they won 1 game his final season, but he said that was one of the most fun seasons he's ever had. Because he said the girls are great. They came in, they had a lot of fun every single day. They worked hard, and they listened, and they're willing to get better. So, as a coach, it's so easy to get caught up in wins and losses and trying to make the state tournament and stuff like that, which I want to do, don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, you got to step back and think of the reason that you're really coaching, building relationships, helping these girls, learn life lessons, I think is the big reason that a lot of us do coach. So it goes past of just wins and losses.
All right, thank you for your time and joining us today. Next up, we will be joined by the Waverly Vikings. Good afternoon and welcome to the second Co-JMC Lincoln Area High School Basketball Media Days, sponsored by Pepsi Cola of Lincoln. I'm Trevor Oldfield, and thank you for joining us via our live stream on the Nebraska News Service YouTube page. For those of you in the audience, please raise your hand if you have a question, and the mic runners will bring you the mic. Up next, we have the Waverly Vikings, and if you can go ahead and introduce yourselves, we'll get into the questions.
I'm Berkeley Lambrecht. I'm a senior and a guard.
I'm Aniston Harms. I'm also a senior and I'm a point guard.
I'm Parker Christensen. I'm also a senior and I play forward.
I'm John Cockrell, head coach.
This is for Coach. The team has improved year after year since 2019. What have been like the key pieces as a coach to like keep you guys improving every year?
Well, I think a lot of that comes on the girls and the amount of time they put in the off season. I always feel like my job is to get them together during the year, and they got to put in the work in the off season to make themselves great. And that's what this group of seniors has done. And we've had seniors before that have kind of built a family tradition. And I really feel like, you know, they're the ones that are really feeling that. Now they want to be the family pushing it down to our young kids. So I give a lot of credit to the girls, really. They got to go put in the time and hit the weight room and do all that work.
Hi, question for Coach. What is a point of emphasis from last year after going 18-5 and losing the first round, going into this year, and what maybe changes for the team or stays the same and you just create a stronger base out of that?
Well, I think there's a lot of things that stay the same with us. The way we play defense and approach our offense is not going to change because we have girls that are skilled in specific areas. I mean, yeah, everybody wants to win that next round, and I think that with these seniors and their mental toughness, that we're going to push past that next round. I mean, yeah, we want to get there first, but these girls have got a lot of toughness. They've been together a long time. They know what a family feels like, and I feel that alone is going to help us get to that next goal, past that first round.
This is for the players. What have you and your teammates been focusing on this year during the off season, and what are some like main goals you guys have for this season?
I think some main things that we've been focusing on this season are our team chemistry. I mean, obviously every year when you come back, it's a new team, you got new girls stepping up and playing those positions that were left by the seniors. So this summer we worked a lot on our team chemistry and bringing those younger girls up with us and building their confidence so that when these 5 seniors leave, then they'll be ready to continue on the legacy.
Yeah, and then I think some goals. We've reached the state tournament, like us 3 seniors have reached it for 3 years in a row, and we just haven't been able to get past that first round. So we're gonna like push to get past that first round and make it farther. I mean, our goal is to win the whole thing. I mean, and there's no doubt in my mind that we can do it. I mean, it's gonna take a lot of time, and we're gonna have to work really hard. But every single one of us is willing to work hard. So I think it'll be really fun. See what happens.
So you mentioned team chemistry. How important do you think that is actually transferred to the court? It's like during a game.
I didn't quite hear you. What is it? Oh.
I got it, yeah. I think that the team chemistry is very important to how the team plays. If you got a team that doesn't really get along or they can't be totally honest with each other, then they end up, you see it on the court where they struggle. I can personally say for all of us, we've played together since we were in 5th grade. So we know how to play with each other, and we know also how to handle each other and talk to each other, and that chemistry just rolls onto the court, and it helps us so that if we have problems or if there's like situations that we got to get past, we know how to work them out because of our chemistry.
This one's for all the players. What can you say about the culture that you've built at Waverly, getting better year by year, and what can you say about it going into this year?
I think our culture has always been family. That's like our main topic. When we leave the huddle, we always say family. And I think we represent that well over the years, and we're hoping to continue to do that this year again. Like Parker said, we've all played together since we were like in at least 5th grade in Vike Hoops, and her dad has been coaching us for a long time too. Like I think we just got really close with each other off the court too, and that helps our chemistry on the court, and it just like makes us actually feel like a family. Mm-hmm. So
yeah. It also helps knowing that no matter what happens on the court, off the court, we're all still going to be best friends. And that just, it brings us closer together because we can just lean on each other no matter what. And so our motto this summer was one team, one unit, one family. So we're not playing for ourselves, we're playing for the person next to us, and we're playing to win as a team. You don't win by yourself, so yeah.
This is for everyone. Do you guys feel like you guys have like a game circled this year, like a game on your calendar circled, like maybe a rivalry game or a revenge game or something like that?
I mean, first game of this season obviously is a rivalry game with Norris, but big game this year with Crete East. I feel like they beat us twice last year and the second time ending our season. So I think coming back this year, they're kind of the team to beat for our team just because we want to get back on them. And then they are returning all of their players, so they're going to be a really, really good team. So that'll be a big win for us.
What have you guys done in the off season to try to improve to get over the hump of the first round in state?
Obviously, we mentioned like weights. All of us have gone to our weight program all summer. We do like our camps and stuff like normal, just like most high schools do. But then I think one thing us three did was we all played on the same club team this summer, which I think is really going to help transfer this year onto the court because we got to experience some more time just playing all three of us and just connecting and getting some more feel like playing together and communicating and gaining confidence in each other.
For everyone, moving forward with those Norris games and those tough battles, what's going to be your mentality going into those games to prepare yourselves?
Yeah, I think the main mentality is just for each other. I think like you can't have your best game every single game, so just like trying your hardest especially and always working hard, not just for yourself but for everybody else. I feel like on our team we don't have a person that's kind of like holding us behind where some teams might. I think every single one of us, from the starters to the people on the end of the bench, they bring it every single game, every practice, and that's what's kind of keeping us motivated into those tough games that we're going to have.
Yeah, I also think Coach always says he doesn't know who's going to go off and have a great game, but he knows someone is, or like even if it's going to be someone off the bench. Like it doesn't have to be a starter. And that's something special about our team is you don't know who's going to play great, but we know someone's going to step up when it's needed because we want it for each other and we work really well as a team. So if someone has a down game, someone else is going to pick it up. And that's just kind of how we roll as a family. So.
And I think if we don't necessarily get our offense going as well, I think we're going to pick it up somewhere else. Like we'll know we need to adjust our defense and just play hard defense so that they can't score as much if we're not as combined on offense for one game.
Yeah, I agree with them. I'm defensive minded, so I don't know which one's going to score that night. I have expectations, but I guarantee you they will play hard on defense, and they've always done that.
Berkeley, what are the origins of the coffee grinder?
Oh my gosh. I did dancing when I was younger, so I took a hip hop class, and our whole class learned how to do the coffee grinder. So I just performed that for them.
And I missed that.
Yeah, she hit the coffee grinder.
Nice.
All right, this is for everyone. Obviously, everyone wants to go out and win the state tournament every year, but what do you guys see as your team's absolute maximum potential or ceiling this year?
Well, I'll start that before you go. I mean, yeah, you said it right there. The top ceiling, obviously, do we think we're in the top 10, top 5? Yeah, we do. Now we got to go prove it. We've been talking about getting past that first round, which this team is, with this leadership, can definitely do it. There's great teams out there, even playing that are here right now. We know how good the teams are, but we know we can play with them. So our ceiling is all the way, but we got to go prove it. We got to start with game one and take care of business and then get better every day. So that's what I think our ceiling is. I don't think the girls are going to argue with that too much.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Everyone says they want to win state. I mean, it's our senior year. You want to go out on top, but you can't just say, I'm going to win state. You got to work hard and you got to prove it.
Yeah. Every practice, every game.
This is for all of you. Speaking of being greater day by day, what do you feel is one thing that you've all gotten better at in the offseason, coach and player?
You just go down the line.
I was going to say like aggression because I feel like like I said, we all played club ball. I feel like that develops a lot of physicalness. Like there's a lot of fouls, club ball. So I feel like aggression, you just learn to go through it and just fight through and make your moves even as you're getting kind of hammered.
I think a lot of times in the summer, like when we do our camps and go play in leagues and camps, we don't run plays. So they have to learn to play with each other without plays, talk to each other, communicate. There's some games where I don't even coach them when they play together, so they coach themselves, and I think that's huge for our team because they know a lot of what's going on before we hit the ground running and start coaching them.
Yeah. I switched to like the point guard role this year, so learning how to, I mean, everyone likes to score. I mean, that's just kind of basic basketball mentality. So learning how to kind of give the ball up to your teammates and trust them that they're going to get the ball back to you when it's right, and also that they're going to put the ball in the hoop too. So I've worked on that and getting my teammates open on, you know, just not always thinking about, ooh, like what's the shot for me, but what's the best shot for the team also. That's point guard.
Yeah, I would say for myself, learning to be like that next leader. Like we lost a lot last year with our seniors, and stepping into the senior role, kind of all the younger kids look to you like you're the upperclassmen. So learning how to be the best leader for them and not just myself, and how I can help them improve so that like when us 3 seniors leave, and I mean especially us 3 with the being starters last year, that when we leave that we leave a legacy on them and they continue to be who Waverly basketball is.
Parker and Aniston, you both scored 12 points each in the last state game. Is that going to spark a little friendly competition between the two of you to see who can be the leading scorer this year?
I think honestly, my role is probably not as much as a scorer this year. I mean, I want to score, that's everyone. But as the point guard, I hope Parker scores more than me because she probably should, and we need her to win.
Yeah, no competition. I mean, when you are teammates and stuff, you're rooting for each other. So I want her to have as good a game as I want to have. But all the starters, that goes for, not just us 2.
Definitely.
This is for Coach. What has been your favorite part of like coaching these girls at like all the seniors on the team, everything like that over the past couple of years?
Well, the best part is getting to know them. I mean, I teach them when they're in 8th grade. They get to know me a little differently there, and then I become their coach. And when they're young, it's always a battle with Coach. You know, he ain't always doing the right things. As they get older, they start looking back going, maybe he was, okay? So that's the part that I love, is just how they grow with you as you get older. And even though we don't always see eye to eye, we're all very honest with each other. I feel that if they have something to say, they say it. They know they're not going to hurt my feelings. I need to know honestly what's going on within our locker room so that we can take care of things and move on. If they got ideas in the game, we will do them if we feel like they're actually going to work. So that's the best part of these kids. And then when they get out, keeping that relationship with them as they grow up, that's even more fun. So.
All right, thank you for your time and joining us today. Next up, we will be joined by the Lincoln Christian Crusaders. Good afternoon and welcome to the second Code JMC Lincoln Area High School's Basketball Media Days, sponsored by Pepsi Cola of Lincoln. I'm Trevor Oldfield and thank you for joining us via our live stream on the Nebraska News Service YouTube page. For those of you in the audience, if you have a question, please raise your hand and the mic runners will bring you the mic. Up next, we have the Lincoln Christian Crusaders. If you can go ahead and introduce yourselves, we will get on with the questions.
Jessa Heiser, junior and a point guard.
Macy Pittenger, junior guard.
Kenna Ailes, senior forward.
Maddie Castlebaum, senior guard.
Coach Scott Klein.
How do you plan to keep the momentum after winning state last year?
I think just keep playing how we have been. It worked for us last year, and just building on top of that because we've grown in the off season. So just playing like we know how and how we've trained and putting in that work.
I'd say, emphasizing putting the work in the off season. We've all worked our tails off and been in the gym every day.
How do you keep each other motivated during tough stretches or when facing a strong opponent?
I'd say just remembering what we've worked for and just encouraging each other and
Yeah, I feel like just encouraging each other, like even if like someone messes up, like not letting them like get in their head about that and just like helping them stay motivated to keep going.
Everybody's looking for team chemistry. What do you all do to, just following you all around the last couple hours, you're really close, and how does that happen? What do y'all do to kind of keep that chemistry? How do you keep building it even season to season among you all?
One thing that we do a lot of team building. Like after practice, we'll go and we'll do something. We do team building before the practices start, and also in school we just always see each other, which helps build those relationships that stay and you can see on the court.
Yeah, and we've also like all known each other since we were super little and like have that connection, like having that smaller school, like just seeing each other in the hallway and yeah.
You guys are returning 4 of the 5 starters from last year's championship run. What do you think is your biggest obstacle from going and winning it all again this year with a very experienced group?
I think it would be easy to overlook some of the games because we did win it last year, so we could just go into it thinking that, we can do it again, but we have to go one game at a time and not look over any opponents.
Yeah, going off of what Kenna said, we're going to get everybody's best shot, just being the defending state champions. So showing up every game, knowing you're going to get everybody's best, and you just have to trust your training and work super hard in practice and work harder than those that you're going to be competing against.
How do you maintain a positive mindset when you lose a game and help the underclassmen not get discouraged?
I think that goes back to just encouragement, and we win as a team, we lose as a team. Just encouraging and lifting up the younger players, lifting up the ones that you play with, lifting up everybody who plays, and just encouraging them and doing everything as a team.
Mm-hmm. And also like just with like our losses, like kind of looking at it as something like we can grow from, and like not something that's like so bad, but like kind of a learning experience.
I would echo what Jay said there is, last year we, one of our 2 losses, we got beat in the conference finals, had a 20-point lead in the third quarter and got beat on the last second shot. And so we had to learn and grow from that. So it didn't happen again. And I had a meeting with them the next day. We discussed how we can get better during that situation. And so hopefully it didn't happen again at a district final or in the state tournament. And from that day on, I just seen a different look and determination in her face when we lost that game. It stung, losing the conference finals, but in the long run, I did think it helped us accomplish our goal of winning the state championship.
Besides just winning games, how would you say your team measures success?
We talk about success a lot as maximizing our God-given ability and just honoring him through the process. Like that's why we play. It's fun, and we want to honor Christ through that.
Yeah, our theme this year is for his glory, so we're really going to focus on that. Not so much about the game and winning or losing, but just if we're giving him the glory, that's all that matters.
I think that's why I love coaching them. Basketball isn't who they are. Christ is who they are. And that's how they play the game that way. They honor, what we say for an audience of one. And they honor Christ and every aspect of their life. And for me, that's pretty impactful and emotional, and it's fun to be around.
You guys feel coming from a small school and accomplishing so much in the last few years?
Can you repeat that again?
Yeah, sorry. Is there a level of pride you guys feel coming from a smaller school and having accomplished a lot in the past couple years?
I feel like we have a humble confidence and just like have a way about us, just like we're confident coming in, and we're ready to take on any team, but also we're humble and we're ready to take everybody's team's best shot.
I think too is when you're the defending state champs, these girls don't take anything for granted. Coming from a smaller school, but I always talk to them about Lincoln Christian girls basketball. It's a storied program that's. You think of C1 basketball, you think of Lincoln Christian girls should be in the state tournament. We had a little bit of a dry spell. Got there 2 years ago and unfortunately got beat by Bridgeport in the quarterfinals. And I think that's what motivated them last year to be the last team standing. And I think that's what's motivating them this year is they got that feeling of cutting down the nets on that Saturday. And they want to feel that emotion and experience again.
You seniors have gone through a lot and experienced and got a lot of great success throughout your high school career. How are you planning on showing that to the underclassmen to get them ready for when you guys leave?
Yeah, I think being an encourager and just giving them that confidence is huge, because if we encourage them, and I know that they look up to us being older kids, so I think that that's just a big thing, helping them get ready for the future when they'll be playing also.
Yeah, just taking them under our wings, like that makes a huge impact on them. So.
Do you guys have any game day traditions, either as a team or individually?
Dance party.
Yep. Yeah, dance party in the locker
Yep.
room.
We have a disco ball and everything. It's pretty crazy.
Lights
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Coach is not invited to that.
No.
So.
Yeah, no.
Both teams you lost to last year, you also beat. What do you think was the reason for you being able to defeat the only two teams that beat you?
Well, I think it was a learning experience. Sydney beat us in January at the showcase, and we didn't play very well that night, weren't very good defensively. So when we got a chance to play in the state championship, obviously that they take pride in that. I already mentioned the conference finals against GICC. Just learning how to close out games. So it was definitely rewarding to to get Sydney in the state finals because they had gotten us earlier in the year, and so I think that speaks volumes to these girls here that they weren't going to let that happen again.
Being the state champions, you guys got a bit of a target on your back. What would you say to all the other teams now that you have an opportunity at a microphone at a media day? What do you say to them coming after you?
Good luck, I guess.
Yeah. I'd just say we're ready to come back and compete to defend that state title.
Yeah, the one thing about them is we talk about, we won the state championship, but, I told them And after we won in March and then spring we had our meetings, that's now over. You know, we were at the top of the mountain in March. And then once, you know, spring and summer ball started, we're at the bottom of the mountain just like everybody else. So we got to work just as hard, if not harder, than you did the year before. They always say it's easy to win the first one. Maybe not as easy to repeat because we are going to get everybody's best shot. But they put the time in the gym. These four, you know, we have a shot club we do in the summer that they surpass easily. All four of them play AAU basketball. So when our high school summer got over it, they jumped right into AAU basketball. I think they're very hungry and determined that it just wasn't a fluke for what we accomplished last year. They want to go get another one. And God's given them the ability to play the game of basketball. They play it at a high level, and I'm just happy to be a part of it. They're fun to be around every single day.
All right, thank you for your time and joining us today. That concludes our second day of the Co-JMC Lincoln Area High School Basketball Media Days, sponsored by Pepsi Cola of Lincoln. Thank you for joining us as we showcase the girls basketball teams of Crete, Lincoln Christian, Lincoln Lutheran, Lincoln Pius X, Norris, Seward, Waverly, and York. Good night from Anderson Hall.